large cinema and shopping complex, so the couple parked as close as possible. They then dashed across to get some money from a machine before eating. They went again for a pizza a couple of weeks later, only that time they watched a film first and then ate. Did you at any time notice any signs about your right to park outside pizza?
Not in the slightest, no. We've been
It was February, wasn't it?
It was February,
Dark?
yes. Yes, in the evening. Yeah.
You didn't see anything to say why or why not you shouldn't park in this, or what the conditions were?
No, not at all.
So you can imagine their shock when they received a parking charge notice from New Generation Parking. Libby immediately appealed against the charge. A final reminder arrived, but Libby says she ignored that because she'd lodged an appeal. She also had a wedding to plan, now that Alistair had left the army after serving 2 tours in Afghanistan and Iraq.
I'd been planning it for a long time, obviously for the whole time he was away in Afghanistan, so it really was, I would say, like a dream come true for myself, because I'd been thinking about it so much, so I wanted to plan. Yes. Yes.
The couple got married at the end of April and jetted off to Hawaii for a sunshine honeymoon, but they had a nasty surprise on their return.
We had a letter in the post along with many others. I opened it, having recognised the sign at the top of the page, seeing the New Generation sticker, and to our absolute shock, horror, and it actually made me feel physically sick. I read that they'd taken our car away.
They'd taken your car away?
They towed it away.
Where did you leave it?
We left it in our parking space downstairs, allocated to our apartment. It's private parking downstairs, so it's only for residents to actually get access to.
Libby and Alistair were astounded that their car had been towed away. To access their individual parking spot, you have first to enter the complex through security-coded gates, and then use a key fob to unlock the barrier to the basement car park. And if that was not enough of a jolt, there was a further nasty sting in the tail. How much money did they want for you to get your car back?
£725.
Pardon?
£725.
I can't believe that. 725 quid?
Yeah. For the money, it obviously cost them to take our car out without our permission, and they also put a fine on of £35 for each day following the day they took it.
Libby and Alistair arrived back 9 days after their car had been taken, and a letter from New Generation Parking said that after 14 days, if the charge had not been paid, the vehicle could be sold or crushed.
We were both livid and felt completely sick over the whole thing. It also made us argue as well, as you can imagine, what with all the jet lag and generally very tired from having travelled back from Hawaii. It was literally the nightmare to our end of a honeymoon.
The couple got their car back, but were left severely out of pocket and upset. So what did the parking company have to say? The operations manager of New Generation Parking, Darren Priest, told us they'd written twice to Libby, informing her she'd broken the terms and conditions for the car park, and they responded to her appeal against one of those charges, saying it would not be overturned. He said no further appeals were lodged or payment made, so final reminders for both charges were issued in late March. The vehicle wasn't removed until May the 5th, 2 months after the appeal was denied, and over a month and a half after the final reminders were issued. He said Libby would have had 5 letters in all detailing that the vehicle may be removed from an NGP-maintained site if the charges were not settled. Only our first letter was responded to. Of course, Libby says she only received 2 letters from them. Mr. Priest said signs on their sites clearly say that outstanding tickets may result in a vehicle being removed without further notice. And Libby would have been aware of this, as New Generation also managed the parking where she lives. The signs showing the regulations are at the entrance and prominently displayed within the sites. But Libby is adamant that they received only 2 letters and had no response to their appeal. She says that being on honeymoon overseas meant they couldn't stop the towing and storage charges building up, and they should at least have that money back. Now I'm standing roughly at the spot where a driver would be entering